welcome to Book Talk. Today we're talking about the Bane Chronicles. Being that they're called the Bane Chronicles, you probably deduce that they're about the beautiful, fluffy, our favorite warlock, Magnus Bane. The first installment is called What Happened in Peru. Can you see that? Can you see this? Blurry, Joffrey Gallo. That looks like him. What Really Happened in Peru is by Cassandra Clare and Rees Brennan. Now, as a whole, I wasn't too impressed with this short story. It was cute and short and sweet, but it wasn't like, whoa, I love this. Maybe they'll get better as they progress. This really isn't one short story. It's like a collection of a few short stories. And I feel like the stories got better as they went along. The first two were like, and then the last two were like, oh, this is interesting, and I was actually reading because I want to know what happened. I would give What Happened in Peru a C on the Cassandra Clare scale. I could sense that it was not just written by her. You know how you can feel that it's not exactly how your writer writes? It was interesting. I'm so used to like full books that the little tiny bit of development that we got in these stories just wasn't enough for me. But yeah, we got some good stuff. Now, if you don't want to be spoiled on this short story selection, then I would go away, just read it. It's about 100 pages. It's 120 pages on size huge font. It's gotta be like 100 pages or less on regular human-sized font. Go read it, come back, and we shall discuss. So our first Peru story actually takes place in 1791. Magnus and Ragnar Fell go to Peru. We kind of get to know Ragnar Fell a little better. We really only see him in Clockwork Prince for a very brief period of time. He's kind of a lovable, grumpy pants, know-it-all, secluded type. This whole pirate ship where they're going to transfer a bunch of poop somewhere. Magnus swings around like a pirate and falls in the pit of poop with Ragnar Fell, and then the boat sinks because they have a magical duel in there, and yeah. I feel like that story was kind of just fell flat. I was expecting a lot more, and also it was lacking in detail, so I couldn't really follow what was happening. Maybe I just wasn't into it enough. But you know what? These are quickly written stories, and I understand they're just for fun. Next story! 1885. Katrina came to Peru with them, and they just did some sort of job for a woman who wanted to find gold. They did that mission, which we didn't hear any details about, and then Christina was just like, let's stay in Peru for a while. And Magnus was like, yeah. And then we just skipped to this paragraph that was like, later they heard that they were wanted criminals for desecrating a temple, but nevertheless, that was not the reason nor the time that Magnus was banned from Peru. It was kind of just like a bunch of statements. This happened, this happened, this happened, but it wasn't a story of how it happened. We didn't go on the ride with them. They were bullet points on an outline, and they just wrote them in, you know? Next! We skip to 1890. This is where the stories start getting good for me. Magnus starts playing that instrument, that armadillo thing. That boy was a jerk face. Amasu Morales. Magnus falls in love with this Amasu Morales, and it's really interesting seeing from his point of view because we kind of see how he must feel with Alec. All of a sudden, time is something that's golden and every minute is precious when you're in love with a human. And that must be how he views that relationship, and it just makes me mad at Alec. Alec takes everything for granted, and then he doesn't understand why it fell apart. We also get to know Magnus's friend Katarina, who I really like in these stories. We see her in City of Fallen Angels. She's the nurse that takes Clary and her mom down to see the demon baby in the morgue. We get a few lines that I enjoy. Ragnar's trying to get Magnus to stop playing the stupid instrument. You're just jealous because you do not have the soul of a true artiste like myself. Oh, I'm just positively green with envy. Come now, Ragnar, that's not fair. You know how I love it when you make jokes about your complexion. You know how I love it. I like seeing Magnus be Magnus. I actually like him not around his warlock friends more than I like him with his warlock friends. And then we get this story about him being drunk. When they were writing this, they were just having so much fun. They just kept going and going and going. Like, the drunk story was just a little long. It just went on and on and on. Just the image of Magnus on a carpet, just soaring through the desert. You told us to leave you in the desert because you planned to start a new life as a cactus. I did like the allusion to Magnus's mom. I don't think we knew that she committed suicide. We know that his dad is this powerful demon. Who is Magnus's dad? Who is he? Satan? Right after that, we have a mention of Satan, and it's just like, is your dad Lucifer? Who is his dad, and how is he gonna play into this story? Because there's too much suspense to not play in now. We need to see Daddy. Maybe it's Lilith's first husband. Could it be like the male version of Lilith? What if his dad is Lilith? In other, more exciting news, Cassandra Clare has plans to release After the Dark Artifices, another Shadowhunter series, which takes place in between TID and TMI, takes place in 1903. Takes place in 1903, the age of Will and Tessa's children. So, Will and Tessa, and the children, what does this mean? What will it be called? It seems that, James Herondale will be, in 1903, let's see, he'll be around 16, 17, perfect age for Cassandra Clare books. And then we get to see Lucy Herondale, Cordelia Carstairs, and apparently there's some scandal within these relationships that we have in this family tree. It's not what it seems. The initials will be TLH. TLH. Now she hasn't told us what those stand for. The Littlest Herondale. The Tale of the Littlest Herondale. Lucy. The Last Hurrah. The Lacy Herondales. The Lonely Hat. The Longest Heartache. The series. The Loneliest Hatter. James Herondale. A shadowhunter who longed to fulfill his dream of making hats. The Lollygagging Herondales. The Legendary Hotels. The Legendary Hamburgers. The Lacy... I can't think of things that start with H. Haters. The Last Hater. The Laminated Hackers. I don't know. What do you think it's gonna be called? I'm super excited about this series. Will they live in London? Of course they'll live in London. Or will they? Will they? Will they? Will they? What do you think, Will and Tessa? When did they move out to their own house? Cassie also has one more Shadowhunter series in mind that would take place in time after the Dark Artifices, but that will happen in publishing not until after TLH, The Littlest Hatter, The Last Hatter. Let me know what you thought of this first installment of the Bane Chronicles. Let me know what you're thinking for TLH. I'm Christine. I'll talk to you soon. Bye! The League of Herondales. The League of Harassment. The Loneliest Hat.